I mean, I was happy with both teams. Just starting with the men, I think Harry Lorador was great for us, finishing 18th in the nation. I mean, he's proven to be one of the best D2 collegiate runners there is at the moment. Working back from that, Louis Moreau was a transfer from Lindenwood that we got. He actually wasn't able to run until September just due to some injuries. So for him to step up and get 60th for us and be second at the national meet and have his best performance was great. Bitari Ruganegua, he's obviously an individual that's been an All-American on the track several times, knows how to compete well, and has proven that, you know, you don't have to be a cross-country runner specifically to be great at cross. And then our 4 or 5 really stepped up. Gustavo Posada and Calvin Allen, they're guys that have struggled with injury for a long time and really had their best races at the national meet, so it was nice for them to fill that void. On the women's side, Florence and Elle obviously finishing 5th and 6th. It's the best they've done all year. Was excited for both of them. It was a great way for Florence to end her collegiate season. Eleanor will actually be coming back next year and have another cross, so that's exciting. Betty Bajica, she was 3rd for us, an individual that's really kind of struggled all year, and she's only a sophomore, and I really think that she's potentially going to be an All-American someday. So that's really, really exciting for her as well. And then 4 and 5 stepped up. One that I really want to mention is just Callie Bullard. She was a freshman for us and hadn't been in our top 5 all year, and then showed up at the national meet and was 5th. So I'm really, really happy with the way both teams competed despite the course conditions and the weather, and I really think that we're proven to be a good distance school here at West Texas A&M.
I was going to ask that. Did you guys have to run in the snow?
Yeah, so it rained the entire week in Seattle. We probably saw the sun 2 times. And then the night before, it snowed quite a bit. Luckily, the course was a little bit south of Seattle, so they didn't have quite as much accumulation down there. But yeah, there was a light blanket of snow, and the course was pretty muddy in some spots, so true cross country.
In terms on the women's side, you know, obviously you mentioned great cap off for Florence and all that, but you have these younger players stepping up. How big is it for them to get that experience and recruiting-wise for, you know, upcoming freshmen to see that you've got, you know, this kind of experience as well?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, you don't always have to be, you know, the best of the best to come here. We've proven that if you come here and buy in, that you can develop and you can do great things. And you don't have to be the most talented at 17 or 18 years old. And I think Betty is a huge testament to that. She was 170th last year as a freshman, and she stepped up and was 70th for us this year. So yeah, it's obviously huge when you bring people in and able to develop them.
How tough is it to build? I think a team that won had 4 in the top 5 or 10 or whatever. How tough is it to build enough of a program to where you get those players and runners all, say, in the top 20 or 30? That's hard to do.
Yeah, obviously very difficult. There's a few programs that do that, Colorado Mines, Adams States, and I think what separates us from those programs is just that they're primary distance schools, and here we try to be good on the track as well. So just in terms of overall program, I'd say we're in the top 3 when it comes to cross country and track and field.
In terms on the men's side, you know, what's the future look like moving past this season?
So we'll graduate a few. Innocent's going to be moving forward. He's out of eligibility now. He was actually an individual that was All-American for us last year. Actually, unfortunately, fell down in the race, wasn't able to finish. So if he gets up, you know, is able to do what he's capable of doing, we finish as high as 8th or 9th at this meet. But he'll be moving on. Noah Bundrock's an individual that's struggled a little bit at the national meets. But he's been in our top 5 consistently. Outside of that, he's going to be moving on. But I think a positive note is 4 of the top 5 at the national meet we're going to be keeping. And just looking to bring in a few more heavy hitters at the top, and I think we'll have a top 10 team next year on the men's side.
Now we're entering track and field kind of, so assistant runners coming into there, so what does that season look like?
Yeah, obviously for the life of a distant athlete is very, very long. I mean, there's no real off season, so they'll take a couple of weeks here to study for finals and just get their feet back under them, and then we'll jump right into indoor and outdoor. So very, very quick transition here, but a few weeks for those guys. You know, when you run 80 to 100 miles a week, that's a lot of time off. So I think they'll be more than ready.